1, 2, 3, 4.
Screen time, screen time, screen time, screen time.
It's my screen time too.
Hello, and welcome to It's My Screen Time Too, the podcast where two moms cannot believe it's not even halfway through the summer yet. I'm Katie.
And I'm Deborah.
And I have two kids, Jay, who's almost 4, and Kenny, who's almost 1.
And I have 3 kids, Tony, who's 9.5, and Libby and Nate are twins who are 6.5. They are adorable, aren't they?
Generally, yes. Although as the summer drags on, they seem to weirdly get less so.
Yeah, do yours like the heat? Because you're in Florida, so it's got to be so hot.
It is so hot. We essentially just don't go outside anymore. Which feels terrible to say. But I sent you a video earlier this week of Jay, because you were talking about how your kids, this was like ages ago, but you were talking about how your kids liked trying to do the floss and you liked laughing at their efforts.
Yeah.
So Jay has finally discovered the floss, and guys, it's hilarious. He pretty much just balls up his hands into fists and keeps his arms straight down by his side and just like jumps up and down. It's the cutest thing.
It's so cute, and it's pretty much how I do the floss too.
Same. So tell me what cute stuff your kids have been doing.
Okay, this is not even my kids. We went on a bike ride yesterday, and we saw a mother duck, a mallard, and her like 6 ducklings, and they were on our street.
Mm-hmm.
We live really close to a creek, and they were making their way to the creek, and we just watched them like go through a neighbor's yard, hop off a retaining wall,
Wow.
like walk down the sidewalk. It was so adorable. Yeah, there's nothing cuter than baby ducklings.
Do you wish you could organize your kids into as tidy a line as a mother duck does? Because I only have 2 and I can't get them in a line.
Absolutely.
Do you guys get Canadian geese up there?
Yes.
I love how they're just like, F it, we're going to take up this whole street for as long as we want, and y'all are going to stop and wait.
Yeah, and they're kind of nuisances, I've realized. Like they go to the beach and they poop all over it, and they're kind of gross animals, actually.
What birds don't poop everywhere?
Right. But they're big birds.
Listeners, birds as pets, can you explain this to me? Because I don't get it. I mean, I can train my dog to poop outside and I can train my cat to poop in the litter box, but you cannot train a bird to poop in appropriate places. Why would you want that in your home?
And they're pretty.
Not compelling enough for me. You
Okay.
know what else is pretty? Artwork on the wall. We can handle that.
So let's talk screen time in the news. This week we read a piece from NPR titled "At Your Wit's End with a Screen-Obsessed Kid, Read This." And it was a super good article, I thought. It was basically revolved around this family that has 3 kids, a 5-year-old, 11-year-old, and a 14-year-old. And the parents are like, how can I manage their screen time? This is ridiculous. And the experts quoted in the article said, and this harkens back to that Wired.com article that we read about a screen time pyramid, like enforcing time limits isn't really the way to go, because you have to like help your child learn to self-moderate.
Mm-hmm.
And this article recommended really being authoritarian about not having screens at mealtime or at bedtime, but otherwise kind of go with the flow, let your kids figure out what they're doing, stay on top of it, but setting a time limit isn't going to help them manage their screen time down the line.
And it's always going to be a source of conflict, always. Like, even if you manage to successfully establish time limits, your kids are constantly going to be fighting you on it, and that's just not healthy for the family, which is
right.
Something that I had not previously considered.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I was able to relate to, because we just had a family friend stay at our house. She's a 16-year-old, and so she was on her phone a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just like what teenagers do.
Mm-hmm.
And that she was able to still socialize with her friends even though she was visiting from out of state. And it seemed kind of nice, actually.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. How do you expect them to maintain what passes as normal for a social life for a teenager these days if you're so strictly limiting that? Like, it's just a fact of the world we live in now, whether we like it or not.
Right. And I didn't think she was doing anything that was garbage on her phone. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she was like watching YouTube videos about how to play popular pop songs on the piano.
And that's what this article said too. It said to really take a
Hmm.
step back and consider why your kids are using the content they're using online and what
Hmm.
that is doing for them. Like, they talked about exactly tutorials on YouTube or videos about mindfulness and such. I don't know. This fell into the category of articles that we've read that kind of give me a little bit of hope and make me feel like my own screen time strategy is not that crazy.
I need to work with my kids on having them like to self-regulate a little bit better because we do like a hard stop time limit. I don't know. It's just such a struggle. I feel like the mom in this article who was like, our parents didn't have to do this.
Mm-hmm. True, true. But I mean, do you have like she had like color coded time charts on the refrigerator. That was next level.
Yeah, her kids were pretty far apart in age, so thankfully I can just lump mine kind of together and they can choose what they want to do and I have it at a certain time of day and it's working for us this summer, but I don't think it's a long-term thing like as they enter their tween and teen years.
I was thinking about that color coded screen time schedule last weekend when I had a time moment with my husband because it was like a Sunday and we didn't really have anything going on. And it was raining because it rains a lot in the summer in Florida. So we couldn't go outside. And we were trying to think of something to do. And I was suggesting playing a game. Jay has been really enthusiastic about wanting to learn how to play chess. So I was like, well, why don't we play a family chess game that is essentially me and Jay against Kevin?
Hmm.
And Kevin was like, why don't we have family movie time? And I was like, because we probably should be doing something active with the kids, like not just sitting in front of a screen. He was like, yeah, but I like family movie time. And I was like, maybe I need a color coded screen time schedule that includes my husband. Because we do have a lot of family movie time, and it makes me feel guilty.
But you're supposed to be watching that screen time with your children,
True,
according to
true.
the experts. So I think you don't have to feel guilt. I do have a quick follow-up from the last episode,
Mm-hmm.
speaking of teenagers and screen time. So I mentioned we talked about Zendaya and the new show Euphoria that's on HBO, and I watched it and
Mm-hmm.
it's so good.
Did you watch the show Skins? Okay, so I feel like just seeing the ads for Euphoria, it just looks like Skins, like a show about how teenagers like to party.
It's also about their deep, dark inner lives and how terrible it is to be a teenager. So I'm here for that kind of content.
I don't know. I feel it falls pretty far down on the list of stuff that is on our viewing queue. Like, we still need to get into season 2 of Big Little Lies.
That's good. We've been watching that.
Stars made one of my favorite books into a new series, so we have to get started watching that.
What is the title of that?
The Rook.
Oh, okay.
It's like a fantasy series about a shadowy British government agency with superpowers.
Oh, that sounds good.
And they made a lot of changes for the TV show. We've only watched the pilot, but the books are really good if you are looking for something kind of fun and silly.
Okay.
I also had a little bit of follow up from the last episode. Have been thinking about Kids Bop a lot. More than I should be. And I've been also going to the gym a lot more because I've been running. And so I've been listening to more modern pop music. and finally realizing that maybe it would be nice to have sanitized versions of some of this modern music. But like the stuff I like to run to is like Lizzo. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure that Kids Bop doesn't go there. Like I was trying to quick Google to see if they had Kids Bop versions of some of my favorite like running jams, which tend to be the ones that are like all about female empowerment and
Mm-hmm.
usually have stuff about sex in them.
Yeah, what about that hair toss song?
I don't think they've done it.
Okay, that might be, they have to change some lyrics, but that wouldn't be too bad.
I don't think so either. So I guess my point is that I could finally see a place for Kids Bop if they could get with my musical tastes.
Okay. Get on that Lizzo cover, Kids Bop.
Oh, yeah. All right. So moving on to today's topic.
Let's move on.
All right. Our next installment of YouTube for Summer. We watched Cosmic Kids Yoga. You guys, this is a YouTube channel that was created in 2012 by a British actress named Jaime Amore. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce her last name, but it sounds good. She was an actress with a side hustle in kids' party entertaining, and she found success when she started incorporating yoga into her children's stories. And she started performing at schools and community centers in 2010, and that grew into this YouTube channel. She has a paltry 81 million views and only 327,000 subscribers. So it's no Kids Bop, but it's pretty successful. And there is so much here. She has
Mm-hmm.
all sorts of videos. She has something called Yoga Pose Universe, which is videos to explain specific yoga poses. She has Yoga Adventures, which are my personal favorites, where she tells stories through yoga, and they're sometimes based on popular books or movies. She has things called Zen Den mindfulness videos. She has things called Peace Out guided relaxation videos, and she has really short videos called Jamie's 5-minute brain breaks. So there's a lot here. The concept behind all of it is getting kids moving with the YouTube videos. This was Deborah's pick. I, Katie, hate yoga and mindfulness and general health. So tell me, yoga. Tell me, yoga. Tell me, Deborah, what drew you to this channel?
Okay, so in the summer, I like to live that Annie lifestyle. Our friend Annie gets up really early in the morning. She drinks a lot of iced coffee. She goes for runs all before her family gets up. And I like to do that in the summer too, because sometimes it's the only time that I get to myself. So I got up really early one day. I was going to go for a run, and it was raining super hard. So I looked for a yoga video on YouTube. Like occasionally in a moment of desperation, I'll do like a yoga YouTube thing, but it's not my not my number one workout. But when I was looking for like a video for myself, I saw Cosmic Kids Yoga and it looked amazing. And it turns out Libby, my daughter, has done this in school. Like, what videos hasn't she seen in school
I
at this
know.
point? It's it's a lot. So I think her classroom teacher last year would use these videos. I don't know.
How are we supposed to keep to our color coded screen time schedules if the teachers are adding to them at school? They really need to be
Hmm.
providing us with the exact number of seconds and minutes our kids are watching screens at school, too.
Yeah. But having seen this, I understand why they would maybe use this on a snowy day when they can't go outside for recess.
Oh yeah,
I think it's an
that was a
indoor.
joke on my part. I wasn't
Yeah.
serious about. All right, so what did we watch? As usual, we watched the first video that she posted on YouTube back in 2012, and it's called Squish the Fish. And that is one of those yoga adventures that tells the story. We watched the most recent video posted on YouTube as of June 28th, which was called Your Little Star, a guided meditation for kids. And that's part of the Peace Out guided relaxation videos. And then we each watched 2 additional videos of our choosing. So, as usual, we'll start by discussing the videos we both watched, and then we will move on to the ones we watched independently. Deborah, do you want to take us through Squish the Fish?
Yes. So Squish the Fish is basically a yoga vinyasa series told to the story of this underwater adventure. And Jaime starts out, she's wearing a pink hooded onesie. It's not regular yoga teacher clothes, but I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
It looked super comfy.
Yeah.
And she just leads the audience through a series of poses, but instead of like an adult yoga class where they're like Vashisthasana, breathe in, breathe out, she tells a story with it. And there were like legit poses, like when you go surfing in her adventure, it's actually the Warrior One pose. You do the fish pose, which is an actual yoga pose, tree pose. And it was really fast. I did it. I did the yoga actions. Libby and I worked on it together, and it was fast. Like it felt good to be moving, and it was fun, and the story was entertaining. So yeah, I liked it.
Awesome. I'm excited to hear about this from the perspective of someone who actually knows yoga. I found it really entertaining as well. As someone who doesn't do the yoga poses, I guess I appreciated that they were fast because they didn't really rely on me to have that much balance.
hmm
Yeah, I liked her personality. I liked her enthusiasm. I loved the onesie.
Uh-huh, totally.
You know what? I was out to dinner last weekend, I think, and I think we're finally at peak jumpsuit.
Yeah.
So many women were wearing jumpsuits out. So if we can just transition that into like peak comfy,
Leisure wear.
yeah, because I
Yeah.
feel like Jamie's onesie was like the athleisure version of these jumpsuits that women were wearing out to dinner.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean it wasn't tight. But it wasn't baggy either.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like she was walking around in a snuggie.
Right. She could move enough to do yoga, but I mean, it looked nice to like cuddle up on a cold night and have family movie time in.
Oh no, I want to wear it to the grocery store.
Okay.
All
That would work also.
right. Should we move on to your little star?
Yes.
Okay, so this was very different. It was essentially just a picture on the screen of a little twinkling star, narrated by Jamie's extremely soothing voice. And it was like a, and I can't say it was a guided meditation because I don't really know what that was, what that is. But she was taking you through the process of relaxing, getting ready to wind down your day. And it was a lovely little story about how everyone has their own little star inside them, and it's there to guide them and protect them. And she encourages you to lay down and close your eyes and take deep breaths. And it was very soothing. I liked it quite a bit.
Wow. I feel about guided meditation the way you feel about yoga, I think. Like, I prefer to be a tightly wound ball of stress most of the time. So, I mean, I watched this and I just kept thinking about Stuart Smalley
Oh
on
no.
Saturday Night Live.
See, as I get older and I think about Stuart Smalley, I'm like, why did we laugh at that? That seems legit. We all need affirmations in our day.
I know we do. And I should take it seriously, but I just kept thinking about that. And then my brother, when he was like in high school, he would listen to these like inspirational, motivational golf tapes to try, because golf is such a head game.
Uh huh.
And it would like, he would listen to these tapes to try to become a better golfer. And it made me think of that too.
That's a good point. It does have some of the sort of self-help vibe behind it.
Mm-hmm.
But as someone who struggles to like turn my brain off for bedtime, I kind of liked that as a strategy. I'm not saying that it
Yeah.
worked because I still had to like get my crap together and put two kids to bed and like do the rest of my day after watching it.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe if I tried legitimately watching it right before bed, it might be nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, what videos did you choose to watch on your own?
I watched a pretty short one that was one of the yoga disco videos. In this one, she wears a purple onesie,
Mm.
and the background. So I think she's doing these in front of a green screen and
Mm-hmm.
then adds in the setting later. So this one, the setting was like animated bunnies,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a little more action. It was not as much yoga as it was like a cardio jumping around workout.
Oh,
And it was cute. Yeah.
did you get a good workout in?
You know what? I just watched it. I
Oh
didn't do this one.
man.
Super lazy. And then I did with my kids because they were into it. We watched and they let them help me pick. We watched a Star Wars adventure story, and Jamie wore the pink onesie. She had Princess Leia braids. The background looked vaguely like a Star Wars ship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it stayed pretty true to the Star Wars story. Like, I'm not a super fan, but I've read enough books and seen all the movies to know that she was being pretty close to the
Uh-huh.
story. And there were a lot of yoga poses, and this one I thought was actually pretty challenging.
Mm-hmm. I
So,
think we watched the same one.
oh, did you?
Yeah.
I wondered when I wondered if you would pick Star Wars also.
Was it the plot of the original Star Wars, like the first movie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely watched the same one. And I was also like, my head was a little bit spinning because I have no familiarity with any of these yoga poses. So it went really fast.
Yeah, super fast. Yeah.
But I was really impressed with her delivery. Like, she did not falter once in telling the story, and she incorporated the yoga poses pretty flawlessly. I was impressed by the technique. Not that I've ever seen anyone else do anything like this, but she's good at her job, I guess is my point.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, those yoga teachers for adults too, like they talk the whole time, and I like, how do they keep track of like what side you're on and how
Yeah.
many times you did it? And I mean, like you said, that's their job. They should be able to do it, but it seems really challenging.
Or even like knowing what's coming next without like a set list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't do yoga, so I don't see other people doing this, but I was very impressed with Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhat problematically, Jay was also really into this. So for my other additional video, I also watched another yoga adventure, and I would have preferred to go into some of the other categories of things that she did, but
Mm-hmm.
he really wanted to watch the Minecraft one, which is hilarious because he's never played Minecraft before, but he's aware that it exists in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very similar to the Star Wars and the Squish the Fish and the way it was structured. But there was a period of time where she did make herself into like a Minecraft cartoon doing the yoga poses,
Oh, wow.
which was pretty hilarious because, like a blocky Minecraft character can't really touch his toes, like the way it's
Yeah.
structured. So she was trying to do like dog pose and like she was making noises like she was trying so hard to touch the ground. Uh, and as someone who has never played Minecraft, I wasn't really sure on the plot. There was like, you had to build yourself a shelter and run away from some zombies. And at one point, you went to catch some fish. And they seemed like, having watched other videos, they seemed like the same kind of legit yoga poses that she had done before. And once again, they were pretty fast. And she had like a pixelated Minecrafty background for the whole thing, which seemed accurate. I don't know.
Mhm.
Maybe I was a little peeved at Jay because I wanted to be watching something else, but fine. Did you like the concept?
I really liked the concept. I thought it was a lot of fun. I would say I'm a medium yoga practitioner. Like
Mhm.
there are times in my life when I really focus on yoga, and then times in my life when I don't do any yoga at all. But I've been doing yoga for like 20 years, I think now, on
Wow.
and off. So I do have some thoughts. She doesn't talk at all about like correct alignment
Mhm.
or how you should be doing the pose, but it is for kids. And
Mhm.
I like to focus a lot on, am I doing this in the right way for my body?
Do you think she would have done that more in the yoga pose universe videos, which neither of us got to? Like I said, there was a ton of content, guys. Because in the description of those videos, it did say that they were there to explain individual yoga poses. So maybe there would be more about positioning.
Probably. And I mean, my kids have been to kid yoga classes, and
Mm-hmm.
the focus is more on movement
Right,
and not on correct alignment. So,
right, right. That makes sense. They don't have the
yeah,
attention span for it.
yeah. Do you practice meditation?
I have been thinking that I should. It's
Hmm.
supposed to be really good for you. And
It is.
as a ball of stress, it's supposed to
Yeah.
help with that. And maybe something like this that is kind of like goofy would be
Hmm.
good for me because I kind of, with half my brain, think of the practice as mindfulness to be like a bunch of crunchy mumbo jumbo, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, but mindfulness, like I do sometimes try to like slow down, like live in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
focus on what I'm doing. Like I do try to do that, and I think that's something that I've taken away from yoga.
Yeah.
So I should go back. I mean, I think that maybe my kids also would benefit from those meditation videos because like one of my kids does get really anxious
Mm-hmm.
and could use some help in guided relaxation.
Yeah. I think I practice mindfulness best in the middle of the night when Kenny wakes up and I go in to nurse him because it's like
Mm-hmm.
3 o'clock in the morning and I just want to be asleep. And
Mm-hmm.
that is when I am most successful in being like, okay, just be here and realize that like these moments aren't going to last forever and your baby is being sweet on your lap and snuggly and quiet and think about how his little fingers feel when they're holding your hand. Try to do those moments. But those are probably the only conscious moments of my day that I'm good about trying to practice mindfulness.
I just got really relaxed when you were talking about that.
Oh. Maybe I purposefully use like a different tone of voice when I'm even talking about mindfulness.
You kind of did. Yeah, it was good.
Watch out,
So
Jamie. I'm
where
coming for you.
so where do you think this falls on the like entertainment versus education continuum?
I actually was thinking about this when we read the article for Screen Time News too, because they did cite that kind of dubious study that was like screen time correlates with childhood obesity, which
Mm-hmm.
we have also read other things kind of debunking that. Like the thing that correlates with childhood obesity is living a
Sitting
sedentary
around.
lifestyle. um, this seems to be kind of the effort of parents and people trying to deal with this new screen time world to combat something like that by
Mm-hmm.
making it active and medicine in a way. And I think that for my kid at least, and I know I'm straying into talking about the kids already when I'm supposed to be leaving that for later, it was more successful than like a straight up educational show that's like trying to teach how to count by tens, something like that. Like he was
Mm-hmm.
more enthusiastic about moving around and doing the yoga poses than he would be about like learning other traditional concepts through a show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was like the recess of screen time.
Yeah.
And so I think that we both really liked Jaime.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, and her on-screen persona, she is like kind of a Sesame Street adult, like I don't know, she's not cloying, she's not trying too hard. She's just like being her normal self, it seems like,
Mm-hmm.
and is really good with kids. Like I can totally see her being like a classroom teacher and relating to kids really well and not speaking in like a blippy voice.
Oh gosh, yes. And I just loved the whole trajectory of her story. Like, and I don't know all the details. There wasn't a lot out there, but just in my head, she was trying to make it work as an actress and she was banging her head against the wall in an industry that is just crappy. And then she
Mm-hmm.
was like, look, here is a thing that I am really good at that incorporates my skills, and I'm just going to excel in this totally new way. And she does it, guys. Way to go, Jaime.
Yeah, totally awesome. So what did you think about the length of the videos?
That was the one thing. The adventure stories did sometimes seem a little long, particularly the Minecraft one, just because I don't. That's not my jam.
Yeah, they were around like 25 to up to 40 minutes long,
Yeah,
which is a little long.
but like the guided meditation was quite short, and I thought that was appropriate.
Hmm.
What about the production design?
It was fine. It wasn't great,
Yeah,
but I mean, it's not like really the focus. Like she just would switch up the backgrounds based on the different stories that she was working on. It was fine.
yeah. It
Not
definitely was,
impressive.
yeah, not about the graphics at all, but I didn't really see that as a problem.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, did you think of an adult movie or show to compare this to?
I mean, I think it compares to those yoga videos that I was originally searching for on
Uh huh.
YouTube
Uh
for sure.
huh.
For sure. I mean, also like, oh, do you remember Jillian Michaels?
Yeah.
Um, her workout videos. I had one of those back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
This is a lot more gentle than Jillian Michaels.
For sure.
Yeah, so I went literal for my comparison. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, that's the obvious one to reach for. Anyone who has done any sort of home exercise video, this will look both familiar and very, very different. Did you cast the gritty HBO reboot?
I would be way more inclined to watch a instructional yoga video on YouTube featuring somebody like Rebel Wilson
Mm-hmm.
or Lena Dunham who like don't conform to that like skinny Hollywood body type. And there's like a whole range of bodies that can like anybody can do yoga.
And
And like most of the instructors on YouTube are really skinny and pretty and young
mm-hmm.
women, and somebody who's just a little outside the box would be
Yeah,
more approachable for me.
I think that about yoga in general, and I think that's contributed a lot to my dislike of it. Is I feel like not only would I be trying something new and being uncoordinated, I would be doing it in front of people who are a lot prettier than me. How about if we just expanded Jamie's yoga adventure story repertoire to include like sort of television without pity style recaps of grown up TV shows?
Yeah.
I've been thinking because, as I believe I've mentioned in my scant free time lately, I've been catching up on episodes of Grey's Anatomy. So I think it would be funny to see Jamie do yoga stories that were summarizing soapy grown up TV shows. And sometimes I think she can have guest stars that are actors from the show.
That's an excellent idea. I love it. And if they could condense, yeah, if they could condense like a Big Little Lies into a 10-minute yoga adventure story, that would be perfect for parents who are short on adult TV time.
Exactly, exactly. Like, I don't really want to watch Euphoria, but maybe I would watch a yoga adventure story about Euphoria. I would really want to know what she'd have to do with what she'd make of all the drug binges in yoga poses.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of room for creativity there.
So, do you think it was better when we were kids?
Okay, Katie, when I was a child, a young child,
Hmm.
I had a Barbie workout record,
Yes.
like on vinyl, and I would like carry this record down to our record player, and I would like do these like thigh lifts and sit-ups set to Barbie's voice and peppy music.
Oh.
I mean, I was like really young, like maybe 5 or 6,
Hmm.
and I had really poor body image issues, I think.
Oh, I am
I
so
don't think I
disgusted
can
with
trace,
society right now.
I know, I don't think I can trace them specifically back to that Barbie workout video, but I remember like doing sit-ups. I was a child and
Mhm.
hoping that my waist would get smaller.
Oh, that breaks my heart.
I know, it is sick. So I do not think it was better in the 80s
Yeah.
when we were kids.
I mean, I also had a workout record, but it was Minnie Mouse Jazzercise. I feel like that
Hmm.
was at least a little bit more body positive than Barbie. Oh my gosh.
I
Oh,
know.
that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
The first VHS exercise video that I ever used, I borrowed slash stole from one of my older sisters, probably the oldest. And it was like it wasn't like Buns of Steel or Abs of Steel or like Tybo or whatever was hip at the
Mhm.
time. It was like learn the latest dance moves in the club while getting fit, but it was like early to mid 90s dance moves.
Nice. That sounds fun to do now.
Yeah, I know. I kind of wish I still had it and had a VHS player. I can probably find it on YouTube, but I can picture my like uncoordinated preteen self trying to do some of these moves, and it just makes me laugh so fondly. So it was definitely wasn't better, but it was maybe more hilarious.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds legit good.
So here's the big question: would you ever watch Cosmic Kids Yoga alone voluntarily?
No, I'd rather do a yoga video with one of those skinny bitches
Hmm.
that's geared towards adults.
Yeah, well, I think I've established that I will never do one of those skinny bitch yoga videos. Um, but I also don't think I would watch this alone, except with the possible exception of like the guided meditation. I'd also like to take a look at one of the mindfulness videos.
Hmm.
I wasn't able to explore her catalog to the extent that I wanted to, which is usually a good sign.
Hmm. Yeah. So 10 seconds on whether this is good for our kids. I think it's great for our
Yeah.
kids. I would not watch this alone voluntarily, but I would definitely do it with my kids.
Cosign 100%. It was such a great compromise between having screen time and having active time, especially
Hmm.
when you have to be indoors for some reason because it's pouring rain or whatever. I loved this for Jay.
Hmm.
So ratings?
I give it a 5.
Yeah, this was really great. And I was prepared to hate it. As someone who actively dislikes yoga, I was prepared to hate it and totally converted. I cannot describe to you how surprised I was to have that reaction. Loved it. Loved it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode of It's My Screen Time Too. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. You can look at our website, My Screen Time Too. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/My Screen Time Too. And you can find out there what we're watching for our next episode if you want to watch it ahead of time. Tweet us with your show or movie suggestions or comments or articles we should read for Screen Time News at My Screen Time 2. email us at myscreentime2@gmail.com. And our theme music was composed and performed by me and my adorable children. And our podcast is produced by Katie. Tune in next time for more real talk about the movies and TV beloved by kids and tolerated by parents. Bye.
Screen time. Screen time. Screen time.
My screen time.